Hi everyone. Today I'll be discussing a business interview question asked in Amazon. And this question is useful for anyone preparing for the role of consultant, business analyst, program manager, or category manager. So, this is a profitability question. And the question is your client is a grocery retail chain who's seeing a drop in profits. So, you have to analyze the problem and help them solve it. Now, please watch the video till the very end because there are certain concepts which are not there in the presentation and I'll just do a voiceover. So, as usual, we'll start with the clarifying questions so that we are able to get a better understanding of our client's problem. Now, please pause the video, take 30 seconds to think of the problem. A good practice is to always let the interviewer know that you're taking a few seconds and make a note of all the questions that you want to ask. So, the first question we should ask is what type of products our client deals with, and have we seen a decline across a certain product category? So the interviewer tells us that the client sells products that we see in a typical small size mart and the decline is across categories. Now the second question that we can ask is the decline specific to our client or is it industry wide? And is the profit impacted across one store or the entire chain of stores? So again, the interviewer tells us that the decline is specific to our client and it is seen across one store. So the final few questions we should ask is where is the store located? Who are our customers? And since how long has the decline been? And what is the magnitude of the decline? So the interviewer tells us that the store is located in Bangalore and the customers are the local people living in that area. And the decline has happened in the last 6 months and it is close to an 8 to 10% decline. Do let me know in the comment section if some part of the questions are still unclear and if I could have asked other clarifying questions. So just to summarize what we've discussed till now, our client is a grocery retail chain who's seeing a 10% decline in profits in the last 6 months at a single store in Bangalore, and the issue is specific to our client. Now I'll start analyzing the profits. So profits can decline either due to decrease in revenue or increase in cost or both. So the interviewer tells us that the issue is due to decrease in revenue. So I'll deep dive into the revenue side now. Now revenue for our client can be seen as revenue per customers into number of customers into the frequency of visit. And either of these could have seen a decline. So again, the interviewer tells us that the number of customers has seen a decline. So I will deep dive into the customer journey to see why the number of customers has declined. And I can understand the experience by mapping and analyzing the journey through all the touch points. So I'll break this down into need, awareness, accessibility, affordability, and experience. Now coming to need. So need tells us if the customer actually requires the product or service. Now here I'm assuming that it should not be a problem for our client as grocery is an everyday requirement and the interviewer confirms that that's a fair assumption. So I'll move on to the awareness section now. So in awareness, I like to understand if the target audience knows about the product or service. For the awareness part, I look at different ways in which we communicate and market. Do we advertise in the local neighborhood? Do we offer promotions to, let's say, nearby societies? Do we send some communications through WhatsApp? And do our customers, involve in good word of mouth promotions for us? So the interviewer again tells us that awareness is not a problem. Local people are aware of our store and we do keep sending promotional pamphlets to the nearby societies. So I'll move on to accessibility. Accessibility involves making the product or service easily available to our customers. So I look at accessibility both outside the store and inside the store. So outside the store, I'm going to look at do we have good parking facility or is our store well connected to, let's say, public transport? Do we provide home delivery to our nearby societies? And within the store, I'm going to look at how is the product placed in the aisle? Do we have enough products or not? So the interviewer tells us that we are facing parking issues and we do not provide home delivery. Now, I would like to pause here and want to understand what is the potential issue that we could be facing. And I look at both external and internal reasons. So, parking can become inaccessible due to some construction activities happening close to our store, or it can happen that we have a shared parking space and with some new outlets coming up, the parking space is becoming less accessible to our customers. Or have we by any chance increased the parking charges? So the interviewer again tells me that the parking availability has become an issue as there is a construction activity going on. So I'll make a note of this and then look at the remaining stages in the customer journey. Now, affordability tells us about customers' ability and the willingness to pay the price for a particular product or service. So I look at offers, promotions, discounts that we run during seasonality festivals. I'll also ask if you've changed the benefits that we were offering through our loyalty program. Or has there been any change in the supplier contracts due to which we are not able to pass discounts to our users? Or has the mix for the private label versus resale changed? Why I'm asking this is on private labels, we are usually able to offer more discounts. So again, the interviewer tells us that the client has not changed anything regarding promotions, discounts, loyalty program, or the contract. Even the mix of private labels and resale has remained the same. So I'll move on to experience. Experience tells us about the entire end-to-end interaction, even when the customer has left the store. So I try to understand, has our sales staff been helpful enough? Or do customers face hassle during checkout? Do they have to spend long time in the billing queue? Or how is our product quality being perceived by the customers? Do we provide a good exchange or return policy if the customer is not satisfied? So the interviewer tells us that we are facing issues due to payment failures. And in fact, off late, there are complaints which are coming regarding the sales staffs. So I would want to deep dive into each of these issues and I'll see why the issue can happen across payment. So I'd like to understand, is it happening across online payments? And the interviewer confirms that, yeah, this is true for online payments. And I'm just recalling that, is it something to do with the construction that we discussed? So the interviewer confirms that, yeah, there have been some damage to the underground cables during construction, which is disrupting the network connectivity. So I'll come to the next issue and see what could be the possible reasons due to which the customers are complaining about the sales staff. Now, it can so happen that the sales staff might not have adequate knowledge or correct information about the product, or they're not being helpful and they are being inattentive to the customers, or they're just pushing the customers to buy unnecessary products and the customers are not appreciating this. So the interviewer tells us that we've correctly identified the issue. In fact, the client ended the contract with the previous agency, and the experts from the new agency are still new to the store and they don't have knowledge of all the products. Right. So we've identified the major issues. Now, how would we like to solve it? But before that, I just want to quickly summarize the major issues that we discussed. So those were regarding parking, payment failure, and the sales staff expertise. Now, looking at the recommendations, I'll break them down into short term and long term. So, in the short term, our client can consider renting space in close proximity and offer valet parking to the customers to enhance their convenience. And in fact, we should work on fixing the connectivity issues by getting some temporary signal boosters or repeaters to improve the coverage within the store. In the long term, since construction is going to continue for some time, we can deploy contactless payment methods like tap to pay using NFC. And we should consistently invest in refresher training for our sales experts. Parallelly, we should also conduct surveys and gather customer feedback to identify the areas of improvement within our store. So we are at the end of the video. I hope you have learned something new from this video. Please subscribe to our channel and I'll meet you in the next one. Till then, keep learning and keep watching.